Welcome to the ExAnime podcast, episode number 41.
This week brought to you by Maid.
What?
I was going to say Raid Shadow Legends.
So we're currently in the
Summer anime.
Yeah.
Which is actually really good so far. A-list. So this is this week's A-list. Sorry, we should probably tell you what's on the list. Because... Oh, shoot. I lost it already. Oh, no. There we go. So the A-list this week is My Hero, To Your Eternity, The Duke of Death and His Maid, which is brought to you by me. The Detective Is Already Dead, and Peach Boy Riverside. And then the B-list is Tokyo Revengers, which is a continuation. Kobayashi's Dragon Maid, which is a season 2.
Mm-hmm.
So we've talked about way back when. Slime, which is brought to you by Justus, continuation from last season, correct? And then Girlfriend, and Battle Game in 5 Seconds. That Battle Game in 5 Seconds might change the Sony Boy.
Okay.
It might, as a heads up. These were ones that I picked. Sony Boy, I watched the first episode, and I was like, I like it. I don't think a lot of people are going to like it, though. So it might be something I just watch and then talk about later.
Okay.
But to our weekly shows. So first thing on the list is My Hero Academia. We're on season 5, and this is the second half of the 5th season.
Mm-hmm.
So this brings us to episode 102, which I'm surprised. There's already 102 episodes. You can watch an episode a week and be good for 2 years now.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah. Man, things are in the mix of starting to kick off, but also, like, there's a beach episode.
There was literally a fucking beach episode. They're like, okay, we got a mission for you. I'm like, oh, cool. They're going on a fucking high-tech mission. Yo, you want to see these, like...
Go to the beach.
You want to see these high school girls in bikinis? I'm like, okay, come on. Granted, there's a lot of people that are like, yeah. I'm like, you don't have to sexualize them at all. They're already...
Rappy got me feeling funny, making me wonder what that tongue do.
Oh, my God. Yo, what the tongue do?
It was all right. So, it was
okay.
Whatever.
So, what we watched was episode 102, 103, and 104.
Mm-hmm.
And within those episodes, like 104, the most recent beach episode, not much happened. You kind of learn a little bit because they're trying to catch some drug traffickers of what they call it trigger.
Yeah.
Is what the drug is, which makes you more powerful.
Mm-hmm.
It basically amplifies your core.
Yeah.
And the thing about these 3 episodes that was really cool to see is more and more of the behind the scenes stuff. And at the tail end of 104, you see kind of that like church cult thing that you saw in the trailer.
Yeah.
Or
and that was
movie.
the only thing that was really worth.
So I think what's going to happen is this season's going to end right when the fight starts. And I feel like the movie's going to pick up where.
God, I hope not.
Because they advertised the movie and advertised all 3 of them as criminals. And then the movie, it's all 3 of them working together. So I'm thinking they're going to do the Demon Slayer thing where it's, let's end the season, do the movie, because the movie's supposed to come out when the season ends. Like a little bit after, if I remember correctly. But it's so cool to see the background stuff, the more espionage type stuff for My Hero compared to just the regular hero stuff.
Yeah, you also get to see Endeavor, like... You know, we all know him for the most part as a fairly shitty father.
Yeah.
But, man, it's very clear there's a reason why he has always been number 2. Like, and now is the number 1 hero. Because he is very good at his job.
Like, they even make note in episode 103? So the second episode, where he has, like, his Bluetooth headphones in. Here's they do the thing where you hear the beep and he's already fucking gone.
Yeah.
Here he's just going towards what he says or what he feels.
Mm-hmm.
So you get to see all of them, Deku, Bakugo, and Todoroki, learning like, okay, you'll be good to go if you can, save someone before me. And it's like, they're never going to fucking catch up to you. But at least he's giving pointers. Like at first he wasn't giving pointers. Now he's realized, oh shit. They mentioned in 102, the army is 100,000 strong. And they even showed basically they showed every major city in Tokyo as like a pinpoint.
Yeah. For
on the map.
The villains.
So it'll be crazy to think like, well, it's 100,000 and it looked probably 100 pinpoints. So there's probably going to be 1,000 villains they're going to have to deal with, not to mention other people that'll turn villainous.
Yeah. And how many of them are going to have trigger now that that's a factor? And
they did commandeer a lot of it, which Yukihara, fucking saving the ecosystem.
Yeah.
That data girl. The ecosystem's gonna get fucked.
Yeah.
Lift the whole plane. Okay. Which shows off her ability. She could hold that plane for a little bit, and that's a decent sized plane. So it's like,
are you all right?
that's kind of all that happens. Oh, one of the best things ever. I saw it on the Reddit. It's like, yo, we're gonna hang out with Evan Dower. Biggest fuck you is like Deku wearing an All Might scarf. Bakugo like, yo, fuck this guy, I don't care. And then Todoroki just straight up like, I don't see you as a father. I see you as a hero to help me learn.
Mm-hmm.
But also, Evan Dower has 30 sidekicks.
Yeah.
And also, so I got to take this out of my pocket. Sorry, it was poking me. Did you see, like, you know when they're showing off The Office, right?
Mm-hmm.
Did you see how fucking tall that ceiling was?
Yeah.
I was like, I understand having a big office and, you know, stuff, but also, like, someone did a measurement of, like, how tall Evan Dower is, and they're like, yeah, that ceiling's, like, 50 feet tall. It's like, who needs a fucking ceiling 50 feet tall? That's, like, 4 stories.
Yeah, sometimes you just need a... What if they have to fly out? Like, I'm assuming one of those windows specifically opened so he could just out instead of... Yeah.
Also, for someone that's, like, based around flames, his office is very flammable.
Yeah.
It's all wood, all carpet. It's like, come on, dude. You're just one sneeze away from starting a fire.
He is very good at controlling his fire. Like there was the scene.
Listen, man, people are good at controlling not pooping themselves every once in a while.
Yeah, but you know, in his case, the level of control is so high because even Todoroki and Bakugo have the conversation. Because Bakugo uses a similar technique to fly, just not like as continuous. And
well, Evan Dower does give him pointers on like focus it and then shoot one strong beam.
Yeah, but specifically the fact that they both noticed at the same time that even though he's going around a corner, he's still speeding up in the process. Like he loses no momentum because he has so much control.
That's like a race thing too.
Yeah,
like when Formula One and like NASCAR, it's like you should be picking up speed around the corner. Or at least maintaining your speeds. You got to speed up because you're turning.
Mm-hmm.
My favorite thing, though, I forgot to mention this about the episode before we move on to our next show, is 2 things. One, when Evan Dower, I forgot.
Evan Dower.
Whatever is how you pronounce his name. When he asked Dooku, like, yo, what's your strengths and weaknesses? And it's a whole fucking just like, that fucking voice actor is making his fucking pay that day of just like saying a whole bunch of shit.
I also found that scene super interesting because at the very end, he doesn't like mock or anything else. Evan Dower like literally just says, okay, probably work on this and this, which shows you just how strong his like processing power is in situations. And then you see like the actual hands-on, like just how quick he is to react.
You've also seen a change when he learns about this giant army and because we're going to see a giant change, I think, by the end of this season of Endeavor. Yeah. Because, like, from the beginning of the season, I mean, last season, like, at the very end, big change to being, you know, now you're the pro hero. He's changed to this season. He's definitely changed to, you know, working with people more often.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing I wanted to point out was, yeah, he's the number 1 hero. But Jesus Christ, when he's fighting glass, dude, fucking molten glass falling down on the ground. It's like, come on, dude.
Also, that by the way, they do say like he doesn't work with anybody, but like he's got to be like fairly like flexible if you have 30 sidekicks. Like it's not like he became the number 1 and
I
suddenly
think he has like sidekicks in every sector.
Yeah,
because there's always, which is cool because every time he stopped in a new sector, there were new sidekicks helping him.
Mm-hmm.
Which now it is paying off because they said everyone's doing work study, which is now why I realized they spent so much time on those extra class 2 people. Because you'll probably see them a lot more either in the movie or the end of this season or beginning of next season.
Yeah, they'll have to play an important role because they need as many heroes as possible.
But there's 30 characters in each class. That's 60 people. And all of them have really strong quirks. Like you saw that they had a very good potential.
Yeah. So it's super interesting. I'm glad that My Hero is like picking up. There are those moments where you get a little bit of a lull.
Beach episode.
The thing that I always find the most interesting is the tension and action. the tension of like world building and the situation building, and the like, action of some of the fights and stuff like that, as especially when they like stick, because they do a fairly good job of that. A good example for the tension building, I know for season 4, you were basically stuck in one area the entire time, and it was all about saving Aerie.
Yeah.
Until the last 5 episodes when they did the festival thing and whatever.
The My Hero music video.
Yeah, still pretty
great.
But the briefing where you have individuals like Red Riot and Deku who are, these are work studies and they're like actively involving in something. There were like 10 or 15 heroes
Red
involved.
Riot, one of the biggest MVPs of last season.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking taking them hits.
Yeah, but and Lemillion is there as well. Just the as they're going over the impact and trying to save someone like Aerie, and realizing that she's basically a test subject and a victim, and she's lot being of torn apart,
put back together.
Yeah, a lot of those impacts as they build, especially with Lemillion and Deku, when they realize they were she was in front of them, they could have helped then, and instead she had to go back to that. I thought that episode specifically was really good because it built the stakes pretty well for me.
Yeah.
So, all right,
next, on. To Your Eternity. Holy shit, is it gonna get fucking? It's already sad. Biggest saddest moment of, because we watched episode 13, 14, and that's all that's out because they took a
week off.
They took 2 weeks off, didn't they? They took an extra long.
Yeah, something like
that. There was only 2 episodes to talk about. What's making me fucking sad is
trauma, yo.
Yeah, he has trauma. You're seeing that, and then also he tries to climb the tree and he tries to turn into March. So apparently he can still turn into the fruit she gave him in the backpack that she had, but he can't turn into her.
Mm-hmm.
Which is kind of sad because you get a reminder of, oh yeah, that monster took March and the bear power from him. So he's only got Fushi,
the wolf,
him as the kid Noah, and then Gugu as well.
Mm-hmm.
But dude, also
now he has a mole.
That's right. Now he has a mole. He actually, you can see him gaining emotion because they even say that in episode 13 he has gained emotion or gained something else.
I don't want to kill people.
Yeah, and then he kills the mole, and you have that sad thing of he's like, oh, I accidentally killed it because it bit me.
Mm-hmm.
Because that was the wolf's nature. Also, the biggest thing is we get a fucking tournament arc. It is a goddamn tournament arc, and I'm fucking loving it.
Yo, that bitch is back.
I know, that's the first thing I saw. I saw a cut in the face. I was like, bitch is back.
Yeah. Also, he does have a new form, which is the girl that was with him and March. I don't know her name.
Well, that's the thing, because at the beginning of the episode, they say, oh, he can only turn to things that die, great traumas. Then he turns into March's friend mother?
Like sister kind of thing. Yeah, I don't currently remember her name. She was super important. She helped carry March's body back when she passed and was there basically the whole time. I hope she's not dead. I
don't think she is.
That was one of those kind of moments where it's maybe there's now, as he's evolved and understood emotions and stuff like that, there's an evolution in his evolution. I think that's
what it is, because he can turn into stuff now. Because before he couldn't turn into March when he just lost her in general. Now that he's gained emotion, because remember they said it's a big emotional trauma, then he can change. But now he has more emotions, so he can change into more stuff.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's all about stimulation, and I wonder if for the most part, it started out with trauma and hardships and stuff like that, bonds as the stimulation. And now it's also moving past really core important bonds of March being a pseudo mother figure, Gugu being a brother, a lot of those. into even some of the more like impactful ones of like just being a friend and like
it still hurts to watch him turn into Goo Goo.
yeah.
So you're just like, fuck. That's a one like Noah and Goo Goo are hard. March not as painful. It still is, but I feel like the way they set up Noah's death and then Goo Goo's death was because it was a slow burn of they're dying.
Yeah,
March's was like
the first boy. His death was a really good like. Well, we both agreed just the first episode alone is like S tier. That was really good. It conveyed like a story that was super interesting that now leads into what we are watching now. I do think specifically March's for me is slightly higher than Goo Goo's, but that's only because of you weren't expecting it. Like she's a child, and like the impact also like the build up slightly beyond that, because once you realize like he turns into people, when they die, and eventually you have that notion where it's like, of course Goo Goo's probably going to die like in some way.
Well, I think it's already been established that like when he meets someone new, like these kids he's met, they're probably all gonna fucking die.
Yeah. And specifically with like March, it's sad. She's a child. The innocence that is being lost there is super important. Also, you have that like immediate moment after with the girl that he can now turn into, where she like almost takes her life, and like his reaction to that, like the culmination, also his like, crying kind of like pout face of like, it's a good combination of all of that. So I think it's like a bit more important. It's just starting to reach some of those levels of desensitization, because you know that it's eventually going to happen. I think the interesting thing now, is that fact that he's turned into someone who most likely is not dead. So how does that also develop the story of characters he turns into? Because we've now been conditioned to only see them because they're dead. Yeah.
One big thing I wrote for this episode is when you can hear March's voice, I'm not crying, you're crying.
Yeah.
No, but the big thing we're kind of skipping over, or we haven't talked about yet for these two episodes to watch, is there is that tournament arc, but it all started when
fucking
Fushi and Piorin, I know her name.
Piorin. No.
Fucking look at this, folks. I fucking did my homework. I'm going to forget everybody else.
This man literally pointed at a camera that doesn't point at him.
It's like... No, but Piorin, it's pronounced a little different, but that's how it's written. She and Fushi go to travel to this island with a whole bunch of monsters so Fushi can get stronger, become, I don't know, One Piece or some shit. And as they're getting ready to board the ship, they board the ship and they're taken prisoner.
Yeah, it's a slave ship.
Yeah, we don't know what happened to Piorin. She was taken one way, Fushi was put in a jail cell, and then everyone's fucking branded in the hand. He's like, everyone hold out your hand for your ticket. Like, first of all, I'm not going to hold my fucking hand to get branded. Fuck you. Second of all, it's like, I really hope she's safe, because I'm afraid what he's going to do if she's not. And then he ends up, we kind of skip over a little bit, he's in jail, he's trying to figure out what happens. He runs into this kid, this little girl that has a group of other kids that are kind of trying to get off this island and, just survive. Because it's a giant prison island. It's basically Australia.
Yeah. There's like no rules about murder.
Yeah.
One of the best ways you see that is the announcer, after he's like, open up cell A, gets fucking arrowed to the head.
No, he didn't even finish saying open up cell. He's like, are you ready for a fight? And he gets fucking shot. I'm like, oh shit. This dude just got fucking whacked.
Yeah, and someone else is just like, all right, here we go.
Yeah, it's literally what it is. It's like, let's fucking fight.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's when Fushi kind of joins this big fight, because if you win the fight, you become like the village chief. And apparently,
dictate the rules.
You dictate the rules. You get to run the island. But the thing is, you have to constantly compete in these tournaments, and they even make a offhanded comment.
No, they only do the tournaments when the village chief dies.
But the village chief only lives 2 weeks.
They're like, we know so they have to keep doing them.
Yeah, like, I've never had a village chief that lives more than 2 weeks. And Fushi's this thing, like, everyone sees him get stabbed a whole bunch, hit in the head, And then the other competitor's like, oh no, I'm drunk. Ugh. Or what else are you supposed to fucking do against a guy like that?
Yeah.
But that's kind of where we leave off. Fushi then runs into that mole thing we talked about, and he's trying to find a way to get to Piorin because he wants to protect her. You know, he doesn't know how. He doesn't have anything he can transform into to get over there because he can't get the bear anymore because he doesn't have it.
Tried to kill an owl.
Tried to kill an owl, which is part of the group, the kids' group's owl. I actually have the owl's name written down.
Oh boy,
look
what's
at
his
me all
name?
prepared. Oh fuck.
He's so prepared. He has
Ligard.
Ligard.
Sorry, Ligard. So there's kids. There's Olroy, which is the bigger kid. You meet them at the end of the episode, so not terribly important. Then you meet Mai, which is the red hair girl, which she seems to be kind of the oldest out of the bunch. There's this boy in green. His name is
The youngest.
Sandel. Yep. And then Oppa is the kid with the covered eye. So you get to meet all them, and I'm like, I'm not even going to pretend like they're going to survive. They're all fucking dead.
Right.
Or at least some of them. I feel like some of them are going to die, minus maybe one or two, and then that'll continue the story.
I do think one of the things that kind of sucks, because there's those little pings of, that really sucks, is when they cut for some of the intermission stuff and you see the wall of the faces, and I mean they're all faces of people that he can now turn into, and you can see Gugu's face. Also, Purin 100% was like, hey, she knows that you were Gugu, and they're gonna work hard, and it's like, oh man. Also,
Purin, you knew she was a criminal, and now they're like, yeah, she murdered 10 people, and you're like, ooh,
poison. It's like,
but the backstory,
she 100% seems like the person that would just poison someone who had it coming, though.
Yeah, I feel like they'll do the thing of, she poisoned 10 people, but they were also people that were murdering children or something.
Yeah. All right, that's To Your Eternity. So far, those two episodes have been pretty good.
I also forgot to point out one thing in the fight. Fushi was literally getting eaten alive at one point.
Yeah, that dude's like, I'm immortal now. It's like, well, no, you're not. But
all right, so our next on the list, I believe, was the Duke and the Death of His Maid.
That one's on you, my dude.
I first thought the CG animation, because it's all CG for the characters. There's actually a lot of scenes that are hand-drawn, regular animation style. I'm like, shit, if they would have done this regular animation, I feel it would be a lot more popular. You obviously have technically 3 main characters. You don't meet the third one till the third episode, basically. You have the Duke. I don't remember exactly his name. I forgot to write it down, because they don't even call him by his name until the second episode, because they just call him Master, because he's in his own mansion. And then there's his maid, which I forgot her name as well, because they don't say her name till the third episode. And then they have the butler. So it's literally the Duke, his maid, and his butler living in a smaller mansion than his family. So he's probably around the age of middle school, early high school.
God, I wish I could have lived in my own fucking mansion with servants when I was in middle school.
Well, the thing is, he's been cursed since he was a child, since he turned 5, that anything he touches that's living will die. Even if he has a small piece of clothing in between, it's not skin to skin. It is a few layers. Basically, in the third episode, he's wearing a metal cage around him while in a costume or whatnot, so no one knows it's him. And if people bump into him that way, he's still worried oh shit, they just touched me, I'm gonna kill him. And it's okay, they're alive. But it's actually really sad kind of right now, because you see this back and forth emotional thing of he wants to hug someone, but he can't because he'll kill him. Anytime he picks up a flower, he kills it. So, to make a long story short, it is there are a lot of anime kind of tropes in the beginning. The maid obviously has big breasts, kind of lower cut on there, so she always teases him oh, you want to touch these? He's like, oh, please don't. He gets embarrassed. And it's just so adorable seeing that kind of back and forth thing, because it's just kind of 2 teenagers kind of fucking with each other, but he can't touch her, otherwise she will die. And he really loves her, because they've been together since I think he was 8 or something, and now he's or maybe 7, and now they're both 13, 14. They're roughly the same age. And you realize his whole family has disowned him. His mother, his father, they sent him away in his own private mansion. It's not massive, but it's still big enough. So he just spends all his days alone. Imagine you never get to hug someone from age 4. You can't even touch anyone. Like there's plenty of
I
times.
could be okay with that.
And with
Especially
COVID,
if I have my own fucking mansion. You're disowned, but here's still this nice house.
well, the thing is, like, he even wants to like kiss his maid because there's obviously a huge. It's like basically a rom-com is kind of what this thing is. It's like a romance comedy kind of a thriller type thing. I would classify as. Once you get past after you're 2 episodes in, you kind of get over the CG. That you really get caught up in the story. So if anyone wants to watch it, I'd say watch it. You know, some people have complained on Reddit that the CG is fucking terrible and blah blah blah, but it's a style they picked for a reason. Also, his butler is basically a fucking complete badass. Like this dude does everything super fast.
So anything that's living, no matter how he touches it, dies.
Yeah, there's even a scene in episode 1 where he accidentally falls out of the swing set. He touches the tree he's next to, immediately kills the tree.
Okay.
Like it's a pretty fast like.
So if he was like barefoot and walked through grass, is that everything that he's on the grass, like those patches dying?
I would assume
just the hand.
I don't think they'll go quite that in depth, but they do the thing of like you touch him anywhere and you'll die.
Okay.
There's even one point where like
What about bodily fluids? If he like spits on someone, will they die?
I don't think so. There aren't quite set rules. It's still kind of like a generic kind of idea.
Yeah, I think that'd be interesting. That moment where it's like, hey, like, I'm like two feet away. Don't touch me. But like,
if I sneeze,
go like this. I'm gonna go like this and aim.
God, just no. But it's actually really.
It's a way to have kids. Gotta do what you gotta do.
Well, he's only like 13 or 14 or something like that. I love it a lot. Like his character design is kind of unique.
He's a duke. Breed early.
Yeah. Well, it's like it's kind of weird because they talk and do a lot of things that like kind of modern kids would do, but like it's set in that early setting. So they say some stuff and they do some stuff. They don't talk in the old English kind of way unless it's like super formal. And the saddest part is in episode 3, his buddy from way back when, before he had the curse, would hang out with him. And he'd kind of like, they'd poke fun as kids. And he gets really excited to see his buddy. His buddy shows up. And then the Duke goes to like shake his hand. And he's like, oh no, I can't shake your hand. And his buddy's bodyguards like jump in the way to save him. And then you get this tense kind of moment. And then long story short, it's real tense. They don't say anything to each other. His friend is kind of like super distant. And at one point, his friend tries to steal his maid and be like, yo, come work for me. You don't have to work for this monster. And the maid's already made it clear. She's even said to each other that they love each other. And he's like, I'll save you. So the Duke walks up. It's like, what the fuck are you doing? And he like basically pushes the kid over with his cane and says, don't touch me, you fucking monster. And then that's when it sets in like, this dude literally has no friends minus his butler and the maid in the world. It's so fucking sad. Good show, though. Good show. I'd say it's definitely a B tier show.
Nice. B tiers are good. Peach Boy's last, right?
No, we have the detective is already dead.
Oh.
Dude, the animation like halfway into episode 1 is fucking fantastic. Like when she's pulling out the gun, it gave me did you watch Amagi Brilliant Park?
No.
When she pulls out the fucking gun and shoots?
No.
It felt just like that. That is a show that the animation is great in the first episode. Also, the first episode's 45 fucking minutes. That's too long for a first episode.
Depends. The first episode of Sword Art Online Alicization was like 50 minutes. There's a couple shows.
That's like a whole built-up thing.
I mean, there's been a couple shows that will do like the first hour. I kind of enjoy them sometimes because it's a good way to like really dive in.
Also, airport security is too fucking lax.
Yeah.
She brought a gun on the plane.
I mean, apparently it was all planned. So
apparently it was all planned.
The animation is pretty good. My biggest gripe right now is, you guys are kind of boring. Like she's,
it's a very like nothing interesting. Sesta.
Yeah, siesta.
Siesta. Hey.
Yeah.
No, it's Sesta. It's SIASTA.
Okay. She is like meant to be super smart, cool, but everything basically was already planned from the beginning. And it's like, why didn't you just like not have that dude be on the plane? Why couldn't you just like set up and, you know,
Story
you knew
progression.
this guy like, well, it's very much like a plot like armor thing where it's like you're so smart you knew you were going to have this one dude that you kidnapped bring on your gun because you knew that you would eventually have to use it in an airplane in the air and what this guy was going to be like. And it's like,
I mean,
kind of shitty.
It'll be something later on where they kind of
Also, she's like 14.
Yeah, which is a weird thing. Like at first, I was like, oh, she's probably old or whatever. You can't really tell with a lot of anime from the age of like 14 to like 20 something because they always minus height is the only thing. But for females, they always draw them like the same fucking height. I mean, shit, there's shows where there's like a 50-year-old mom and she looks like she's 12.
Yeah, and then you get My Hero moms like, yo, I'm 35 and I'm...
Yeah. No, but the first episode, fucking fantastic. I really love it. But then when you get to like episode 2 and 3, God, is it so just like...
I would say only the first half of episode 1 is good. Because once you get into the school, like, they literally stop to do wedding photo type stuff in the middle of chasing someone who is supposed to be a bad guy.
They've been called out. They're like, yo, what the fuck are we doing?
Yeah. They waste so much time. It's dumb.
Yeah.
The biggest thing for me is the HoloLive, like, cameo.
Oh, yeah. There was a HoloLive cameo. Like,
yeah. Fubuki and Matsuri appear.
One thing I want to point out, they even pointed out, like, oh, if they cut a hole in the side of this fuselage, we're fucked. It's like, first of all, if you're causing, like, smoke explosions inside a fucking plane, also 600 people on that plane, there is not 600
Apparently,
fucking...
they were only in first class.
That'd be a big fucking plane if that was it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Also,
I mean,
she shot the gun in the plane, inside the plane.
Yeah, that's a fucking...
Where did the other, like, where did the bullet go? Because it passed through. Did the fucking co-pilot die? Like...
Yeah, like, there was a lot... Okay, listen, we won't get too into detail because it's futuristic robots, but, like, when they point out, hey, if a hole happens to end up in this fuselage, you pointed out that this is very realistic, and now you're shooting fucking guns and causing explosions inside a goddamn plane. Like, planes are weighted. Like, people are seated and bags are weighed to make sure the plane flies even.
Silver infused with, like, her blood.
Yeah. Also, they put everyone on the back of the plane. That's a lot of fucking weight on the back of a plane.
Also, that fucking... Sorry, I'm just gonna, like, riff a little bit into this. Because, it was good. It's good if you want to kill time good.
Yeah.
But, like, that fucking case that he brought in could not fit that gun.
No, I thought they made it a point to, like, fold out and, like...
It didn't really look like that.
I'll have to go back and watch it.
Yeah.
Listen, there's people that can fit nano machine.
I mean, it
bots
was
into
literally like a Henry repeater style thing. Not
but to be fair, there was, like... It's true. Like, you got to pick, like, are we going 100% realistic or are we going, like, 10% realistic?
What Henry repeater do you know that folds up?
There's some that you can just detach the barrel and, like... That's a whole thing where you go, like... Click, click.
Yeah, that is not what happened.
She was like...
Yeah. So, there's just those moments where it's like, why didn't that thing come out of there? It's like that one chick where it's like, oh, I've got this thing right here. And it's like,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a little bit of that level of...
Talking about the bazooka thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean...
I think that's from Golden Boy.
Yeah.
Good anime, by the way.
And
it was...
Now there's, like, the new girl who has her heart.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Unless they
whatever.
pick up, this might be one of those shows we just have to... Because the first episode, they set the bar really high, especially in the animation, that first scene. You know what I was thinking? As soon as they set the animation, that first scene, the next 2 episodes, I'm like, I can see where they saved some of the money after that scene.
Yeah, and
I mean, they
that's
still
kind of
put
depressing.
effort in it, but it's like, it's too slow. The last 2 episodes have been too slow.
Also, all of the stories so far, like, as the detective, the ones that are being fleshed out, are super, like, non-consequential in the end.
Yeah.
Like, even the one that's currently been building, where it's like, oh, I'm a super popular idol. Like, both of my parents are dead. I live in this big fucking rich-ass house.
Is she a zombie?
And, no, shut up. Uh, I've received this threatening letter
The
that
police won't do anything.
and to steal this sapphire that's super rare. But she's also like being shady in the process, and it's like, hey, there's that sapphire like behind some glass, like in the open and not in a safe. And
Well, at first it was in
also
like a
the
big
one
old safe.
dude-
Now
yeah.
it's not.
yeah, and then there's the like one dude that like charges her, but she's fine in the end, and it's like, oh, there's a whole lot of like setting up where it's like, all right, well, she's just like lying about something super major, but like I don't even care because it's obvious.
What if it's gonna be like an insurance fraud at the end of it?
I don't even think it's that. Like, I don't know what the case is. Like, there's a couple things that are going on. She's like not telling a full story about the sapphire. The fact that she won't like lift up her eye patch is shady. And I don't want there to be a scenario where Siesta like her body parts are like parted out everywhere. Like this new girl has her heart. Like imagine if that idol chick had one of her eyes. Would you be like
Well,
yeah,
that's what I was thinking. She's probably an android because one of her eyes could be.
yeah,
Which is why she's not
so
showing
fucking
it.
weird.
Also, there's two things I want to point out. First of all, in episode 1, when they're sitting there talking, she's wearing his clothes. What the fuck does she call him? Not a detective. What did she call him?
Watson.
No, she calls him Watson, but what's this? Body boy? What the fuck does she call him?
I don't know.
She calls themselves whatever. It's her and the guy. It's her and the guy in episode 1 when they're sitting there having pizza. There's 4 fucking pizza boxes.
Yeah.
There was no pizza there. Now there's 4 fucking boxes. It's like, who the fuck orders that much pizza for one person?
Yeah, right?
Like,
She used his money.
yeah.
Mooch.
Also, apparently between at the end of episode 1 to the beginning of episode 2, there was like a 4-year jump.
Yeah.
There's he was with her for 3 years. Then it's been a year since she died. Which is why the detective is already dead. And then you find out this new girl has her heart, which they're going to pull some fucking Guilty Crown bullshit at the end or something.
Yeah.
I like Guilty Crown, don't get me wrong, but it's like. Also, the other thing is Sesta, Siesta. I had to look it up.
Okay.
I had it written in my notes. She's a real bro. She said, if you die, I will delete your internet search history.
All right, let's move on from that. I feel like we've just ripped into it a lot.
We're making a good time. The last show, Beach
Yo.
Boy Riverside, started off weak as fuck. I was like, cool, this is just going to be a Konosuba, like, whatever kind of thing. Then, like, literally 10 minutes in, it's like, yo, here's this giant mole. Squash.
The
It's
gore
graphic.
is... I'm glad they're not censoring any of that.
Yeah.
There's those moments where it's kind of like ReZero meets Konosuba a little bit, where you get some of those moments where it's like, oh, it's like some of the downtime, the things aren't super crazy, and then like, oh shit, someone's fucking dead.
Dude, there was one point when he crushes him. It's just fucking red mist.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that show goes back and forth from, it's adorable. We got this cute little rabbit mascot in a Scroll Girl outfit, which, first of all, is just fucking weird.
Frua?
Yeah. Fura, I think.
Frua? Yeah.
I forgot to write their names, and I stopped taking notes because I was just watching it to watch it because I was having a lot of fun after people got turned into fucking pink mist. To then, she's bouncing around kicking people's ass.
Mm-hmm.
But it's so weird because you even go from the point of, here's this org, the bad guys are orgs, that girl that blows open the front of the city and kills probably 100 people with that blast. To then later in the next episode of, oh, you're friends with us, we'll just go on a hunt together and we'll escape together. It's like, no, she just killed a fucking 100 people.
Frau?
Oh, yeah. Futuru?
Also, apparently the ogre that lost her eye.
The org?
Huh?
Org? Yeah.
Or whatever.
Ogre or Shrek.
Shut up. I'm tired. the one that like lost her eye, which by the way, it's hilarious because she blows that big hole into the
And
castle.
she turns into a fucking little child.
Yeah.
It's the weirdest fucking shit. It's like, oh, it's gonna take me a few minutes to turn back into a person.
Mm-hmm. I don't know how she got the name. I don't know if she didn't have a name before, but do you know her official name? Carrot.
Really?
Yeah.
That's so fucking. That's what it's just so confusing about the show. It's not so confusing that it loses you. It's just like, what the? It feels kind of like what Combatants Will Be Dispatched kind of was, mixed with Konosuba.
Mm-hmm.
Because, Combatants had those moments of, very serious. Now we're joking. But it's at least done in a good way like Konosuba, where you're not too like, okay, this is bullshit.
Mm-hmm. So far, I've really liked it. Man, specifically some of those deaths have been, the ending of sir, episode. You forgot your horse. Like, here's your horse. And
then there's another beam. There's been a couple beams that cause huge destruction in this town. And episode 3, the last beam, this guy's handing the guy his horse. I'm so sorry, I don't have his name.
End of episode 2, by the way.
Oh, end of episode 2. He's handing him his horse because I forgot episode 3 is a whole fight thing. Hands him his horse, and as he's handing him his horse, he's like, "Thanks." And then a giant beam takes out the entire fucking town. Like, this is a huge fucking town.
Yeah, like, I mean, city. There's a castle in the middle.
Yeah,
and
everyone's dead. And the next episode, we're just like, well, okay, whatever.
Yeah, so, and that's even the big thing that I ended up kind of like looking up. The show doesn't play everything in chronological order. Technically, the first episode will be the next episode. If you wanted to watch the things chronologically, it would be episode 4, 1, 2, and then whatever past that.
I wonder if they'll fix that on the Blu-ray.
There's a specific site that's airing it. It's not Crunchyroll. I don't think Crunchyroll is going to have that. But as they're airing, they're giving you 2 options to watch it. You can either watch it in the release order or the chronological order, and you just select the option.
I wonder if it's just that one episode that's... Because to be fair, episode 1 gives you nothing. It's like, here's a carrot, let's go.
They specifically said the entire season's not in chronological order.
That's such a weird fucking...
So that they said one of the difficulties was for the manga, the perspective is shifted between both of the Peach Boys, Sully and Mikoto. I think that's his name.
Yeah. Which, first of all, I thought it was a fucking chick the whole time.
I was like, I think that's a lady, but
because he is voiced, I think, by a woman.
Yeah,
which isn't uncommon for Japanese anime.
Yeah, but
Luffy's voiced by a woman.
English voice actor Naruto is a woman.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Naruto still sucks, but fight me.
But apparently for the manga, their stories are separated. They're both main characters, and you'll see an events from one perspective and the other, at different time points. And they wanted to really narrow down one individual, and they chose Sully. And then
so they're just doing one, then another,
and then some of the events, as they were building, they felt that it was easier to convey specific information by running it out of chronological order. A good example so far that we've kind of seen is you get a little bit of those hints of something's going on in the background, which builds a lot of the tenseness of why Mikoto's kind of crazy. You see some of those flashbacks. Also, the squid thing's kind of weird.
Yeah, that was a very random yo, I see some squid hentai. It's
yeah,
what the fuck?
Apparently, that will probably be an episode.
I didn't realize they're watching fucking Food Wars.
Yeah.
That was very random in the middle
and very a lot.
Yeah, we're just walking through a market to squid tentacle porn to then 2 seconds later, fucking laser beam comes through the city.
So yeah, there's some of that where they just felt like the story, technically, like the information would flow a bit better if it's out of order, and then you could rewatch it like in order if you wanted to, because there will be certain events that may happen even in chronological order that may not make sense until like later on.
Yeah.
So
I mean, that's a director choice, so I guess.
Well, so the director had contemplated it and then even asked the mangaka about it, and they were like, "Yeah, that sounds cool." So
I mean, hey, if the mangaka says it's cool, I guess it's cool.
but
So far, that was a very worrisome pick on my part, because I kind of picked it to fill it because we didn't see a whole lot that looked interesting. There was a lot that was kind of like, looks okay.
I remember seeing a little like a teaser for Peach Boy. I didn't remember that it was this season, and I thought it was interesting. So I'm glad like you had put it on the list, because I probably would have checked it out eventually anyways.
Yeah.
Definitely pretty fun, pretty cool, even if things are ran out of chronological order. So far, like within the first 3 episodes, everything's making sense.
I think so far this, we're almost done here. I think so far this season of anime has been pretty strong. It just hasn't been hyped.
Yeah.
That's the problem. It's strong, but not hyped. So you get a lot of these shows, they're kind of testing the water, because like obviously spring into summer, you get a lot of those big fucking shows. And now we're in summer where even last year's summer, I don't think was super jam packed. But,
well, I think the difficulty with last summer though was COVID. Like that was right in the middle, and they had to delay things to fall or
but at least like
spring.
The stuff we're watching now, I'm pretty happy with everything. There might be one show we switch out, but it's not like last season where we watched 2 episodes of Combatants. We're like, okay, it'll get better, and then everything this season has been like, wow, it's been going pretty strong. Minus like Detective, it's kind of weird. We'll see where it goes, because we've technically got 4 episodes worth of content time wise.
Yeah, I'll probably stick through it for the whole season just to see what they do. My worry is it may be something along the lines of Combatants, where it's just fine. And then has those moments where it really doesn't shine, and that one glimmering moment where you could see where it could have been right. And the worry is that moment was 15 minutes into the first episode.
Could be the same thing of when I didn't pick up The Day I Became a God, where the first couple episodes were like, first episode was like, it's all right. And for me personally, I felt like the first couple were kind of meh. And then like the last like 2/3 was, oh my God, this is fucking, I love it.
And then personally for me, the last like episode-ish was kind of
just kind of was
rocky-ish.
Yeah, you got to finish strong. You always got to finish strong. Otherwise, people are going to remember it just being shit.
Yeah.
Like Attack on Titan, season 4, season 3, season 4, part 1, whatever.
Yeah.
That's all.
That's our current thoughts so far.
Update again. We have if you made this far, check out the Boxu review we did. We have that with guest star Shelby.
Yeah, it's currently kind of up there in the
I have
a second box.
I should have just left this out front the whole time.
I mean, it's literally behind you and it's on cam.
If you're watching, do you have any suggestions for what we should do next month? Because we're getting a different box of something next month, whether that be Japan Crate again or something else. That's about it.
Yeah.
Besides, nothing really big in the works until we move in mid-September. So hopefully by October.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. We will be pre-recording next week's episode probably, just because Anime Iowa.
Yeah, we'll probably just rant about something because it's supposed to be a special anyways.
No, it's supposed to be B-list.
No, because
last week was a special. Last week was a special because we were talking about what. We'll make it work. It might not be.
We would have to do a special anyways because it'd be A, B. Like otherwise, we'd go back unless we're doing A, B special now.
It's A, B special now.
Oh,
so we had to change
weird.
it up a little bit. It's because we had that off week and all that. Don't worry about it. We'll have it. Might not be a video podcast. Might be audio only because we'll probably just listen. Next Thursday we are leaving in the morning for Anime Iowa,
and I have a gimbal.
We will have some great footage for you. I probably won't have it edited till middle of next month to be realistic.
Yeah.
But it's gonna be great.
Well, I know what we can do for the special. Show off things we bought.
How much time we?
Yeah. All right. Thank you guys for watching. Look at my pretty gimbal. Goodbye.